Listen up, Congress. Here it is, the third week of your planned and advanced multiple act stage play entitled Government Shutdown, and we, the people, are once again awarded the cheap seats. No matter, because now you're providing us with a wealth of things to see and inspiring us en masse to say a whole lot of some things. Today's video, however, is a message to the people, but you would do well to heed the words herein, because we the people happen to support 1,000% Judge Jeanine Pirro's words last week when she said, after the unconscionable decision to punish the families of our fallen soldiers in order to, quote, make life as difficult as possible, unquote, for America, during the latest phony distraction, throw the bums out. Not just Democrats, rhinos, or fence sitters, but every single one of you traitors and criminals. All the players in your complicit production. And since the actions of the Pentagon against the families of the fallen soldiers are proof positive that our own military can now be considered a domestic enemy of the people, this message should be heard by the top brass as well. Aiding and abetting treason against this nation and its people will not be tolerated either. There was an article on America Conservative to Conservative this morning by Daisy Luther entitled 72-Hour Warning, EBT System Crashes. I'd like to read that article to you now. Abandoned carts full of food were a frequent sight in grocery stores Saturday morning as the EBT food assistance debit system stopped working without warning. According to a Xerox spokesperson, a routine system check by the vendor resulted in system failure, leaving assistance recipients across the country with no way to buy food. Xerox spokeswoman Karen Arena confirmed via email Saturday afternoon that some electronic benefits transfer systems are experiencing temporary connectivity issues. She said technical staff is addressing the issue and expects the system to be restored soon. U.S. Department of Agriculture spokeswoman Courtney Rowe underscored that the outage is not related to the government shutdown. Xerox runs EBT card systems for 17 states, and all were affected by the outage. Users of the EBT cards in California, Ohio, Michigan, and several other states are unable to make purchases due to the connectivity issues. But it gets worse. Xerox is notifying retailers to revert to the manual system, meaning SNAP customers can spend up to $50 until the system is back online. SNAP recipients should call the 800 number on the back of their card, and Xerox will guide them through the purchase process. However, that system is not working either. It's closed for maintenance. Shoppers left carts of groceries behind at a packed Market Basket grocery store in Biddeford, Maine, because they couldn't get their benefits, said fellow shopper Barbara Coleman of Saco, Maine. The manager put up a sign saying the EBT system was not in use. Coleman, who receives the benefits, called an 800 telephone line for the program, and it said the system was down due to maintenance. She said, "That's a problem. There's a lot of families who are not going to be able to feed children because the system is being maintenance. No one should put maintenance in during the daytime," she said. Despite the fact that government workers report orders from the Obama administration to, quote, make life as difficult for people as we can, unquote, the nation is assured that the EBT failure is in fact due to server issues and not due to the government shutdown. Keep in mind that the truckers are also on a general strike this weekend, protesting in Washington, D.C. against high gas prices, rampant unemployment, and corruption in the U.S. government. Between October 11th and 13th, they have called for a general strike, asking truck drivers around the country to refuse to haul freight, a move that could carry with it a significant impact on the American economy. The protest calls for truckers to make their way to Washington, D.C. in a massive convoy in an effort to call attention to, among other things, the Benghazi cover-up, the recent attack which killed 25 members of SEAL Team 6, ever-rising fuel prices, and claims that President Obama has engaged in treasonous crimes. Things are already starting to get ugly. Zero Hedge posted the following tweets. Nobody's EBT card is going through at Walmart. Government done shut down the EBT cards in Georgia. These folks going crazy in Walmart. Swear. Walmart just made an announcement on the intercom that EBT for the state of Georgia is down. There are now full carts left everywhere. EBT is down, so Walmart is complete chaos right now. So glad I'm leaving in 2 hours. EBT down at Walmart and MF going crazy. I almost just killed some people at Walmart. EBT is apparently down today. Working at Walmart while EBT is effed up, I might just get shot today. This is your 72-hour warning. If you don't already have a 2-week supply of food and water, now might be a good day to go stock up, just in case this is the beginning of a bigger crisis. The first 3 days after a major event are your window of opportunity to get prepared, based on the just-in-time food supply in grocery stores and the amount of food most people store in their homes. If the EBT failure continues, look for the situation to get progressively worse. So let's step back and analyze this situation, shall we? We know, for instance, that when Franklin D. Roosevelt stated that nothing in politics ever happens by accident, that if it happens, you can damn well bet it was planned that way, he was telling America the absolute truth. That's probably the only time he ever uttered the truth, but that's another story. The plans are always right out in the open, in plain sight. Only the rhetoric scripted to go along with the actions is always designed to distract and misdirect, or in the case of what we've been watching unfold this past year, to bombard the public with false claims full of downright nasty and juvenile language in an effort to influence opinion in order to place the blame on the other side. America's failure to recognize the fact that there is no other side is at the root of the problem. Only in the childish dog and pony show in front of the cameras are there two sides. Behind closed doors, where the shows are scripted and arranged with a well-defined end goal in mind, the old guard on both sides of the aisle continue their plans to mislead, manipulate anger, promote division, foster hate and intolerance, and all at the bidding of their corporate money puppet masters, the bankers. That's not to say they aren't always also very busy cooking up ways to skim for themselves and line their pockets with what they think they're entitled to from the stolen booty you call your income and property. They've been outright stealing from and draining the money you paid into the Social Security system for decades. So now the day has come when the money's gone. The largest generation in history of the United States is starting to collect what they and their employers paid in, and what now? How does the corporation, alias the U.S. federal government, tell the people that the money's gone without being held accountable for the theft. Simple. Just declare Social Security to be an entitlement, government-sponsored charity for the old and feeble, and voila! Not their fault. Old and feeble people are greedy. Then they commence to convince younger generation that their greedy grandparents are stealing their future by forcing the innocent, well-meaning government to pay the old bastards extortion money while they sit on their lazy asses and not contribute anything to society. The argument also includes the oh-so-common sense decision to enforce the death panel portions of Obamacare to put these useless parasites out of the younger people's misery. The young never bother to notice that deduction on their pay stub that shows they too are paying into what is not a government charity, but their future retirement. They don't stop to think, wait a minute, I'm paying into a charity without volunteering to do so. Hey, these guys are stealing from me. Does anybody really think the EBT card suddenly not working during the Truckers Veterans March is some kind of wacky coincidence? If so, have I got a deal for you? Like maybe a bridge in the middle of Death Valley you can pick up for a song. They tried all kinds of tactics to get the truckers to fear up and back down, like putting out rumors that some of the truckers were planning a nuclear attack on D.C., or that the National Guard had been called to block access to the highway. They sent silly, ignorant, and indoctrinated rent-a-cops out on the streets of D.C. to perform crowd control. Now that was funny. I have to say, I got a chuckle out of watching a bunch of fools with batons and uniforms and bicycle helmets with looks of utter terror on their faces turn tail and hightail it out of there when the peaceful people began yelling, "Shame on you," and got a little close. Guess they thought we the people just might be dangerous with our voices, or maybe they suddenly realized how thoroughly idiotic they were going to look on YouTube when there was nothing to control. Not a single act of violence or anarchistic behavior was anywhere in sight. And you know, there was not one old geezer in a wheelchair with a bomb strapped to his chest. It was a sight to behold, watching those people pick up the barricades and deliver them to the lawn of our house, which the imposter communist is currently squatting in. But let's really call a spade, shall we? This phenomenally stupid stunt, called the government shutdown, has been planned for months. Don't think so? Time to share another short article. For what it's worth, the writer of the following certainly knows what he's talking about. I too have had experience with government contracts and bids. He writes, I was in procurement for 30 years and was purchasing under Armed Services Procurement Regulations. Believe me, it was a slow procedure. Isn't it hard to figure out the person who gave the orders for them? Did anyone besides me wonder how they got all those signs distributed far and wide, including to all the national parks and cemeteries overseas, only 8 to 10 hours after the government shutdown? Take a look at this from someone who wanted to remain anonymous. The anonymous person shares, I have worked in the government on and off for 40 years. During that time, I became quite familiar with requisitions, bidding, awarding contracts, etc. It is a time-consuming process with bean counters and pencil-neck bureaucrats every step of the way. The simplest request takes months, not days or hours. In less than 8 hours of the shutdown, miraculously, professionally printed 3-by-4-foot signs appeared all over the country in the tens of thousands saying, quote, "This park facility, etc., with custom logos, closed due to government